Wassail. So thank you very much for people who've emailed me to ask if I'm okay because I haven't been posting. I'm very well, and I've been on a bit of a deep journey into things. I did a couple of readings. I did one for the full moon and I didn't post it. I did one for the gate that opened on the 5th of the 5th for Irashkagal, and again it didn't have its fullness of message, but Spirit's been telling me to just stop. But I thought I would come out to my favourite little space where hopefully I don't get caught being outside, as I have been already once, to try and do a message for you. And I'm going back to roots in that I only have 2 tarot decks. I have no oracle decks to help prompt things. So let's just ask, what are the energies with this full moon? It's a Scorpio full moon. So it's endings, new beginnings, and I know it's just gone. It was a couple of days ago and it was a lovely moon. The day after, though, the energy was kind of cranked up, and the energy I was getting was almost like we're not waking up. Well, we're waking up to program, but we're still not seeing truths. And so nature's gonna kind of ramp up the energy because it's still trying to reach out to everybody and it's trying to get our attention, and we're still putting economies before lives, but we're meant to, because that's all part of what helps to wake us up. I've got one card there. So what are the incoming energies, please, with this Scorpio full moon that's just happened? We're still in the energy of it today. So what's this Scorpio full moon bringing? What's the energy that this Scorpio full moon is bringing? Oh, now it's suddenly got very noisy. And it's pulled a few inside that I'm going to put to one side just to check that there aren't some others. Yeah, I thought there was another one. And then the rest of the cards are in piles. I'm going to read this less important message first. We have the King of the Four of Pentacles. I say the King of Pentacles because I was thinking the other day about how they sit in this deck in a very similar position, and actually they want me to point this because this is stuck energy. This is the energy that we're not moving past. So this is in the real world, and he sits on a balcony. It's also us all trying to sit in isolation, working out what it is we want to change about our lives to bring in a new beginning. So we're in contemplation. These 2 figures are both seated. He's hanging on to things. She's the compassionate promise of a new beginning. She has a book with a flower, a pressed flower, that she has, or a drooping flower, and that's very relevant with nature at the moment. Not because nature's drooping, but it's this notion, it's to do with control. We have to stop controlling nature. We have to deal with us and our nature. Our nature within ourselves is the only thing that we should control, and we should stop trying to control others around us as well. So those 2 cards come with the Knight of Wands, this flying over, and this is Spirit flying over, changing the balance of everything as we know it. Everything is going to be transformed, changed, and refreshed. So then we have 2 other cards here. We have the Tower. Quite obviously we are in a tower moment, and this energy, the energy of this full moon in Scorpio, is about endings and new beginnings. So it's about signaling you see, I kind of want to say the beginning of the ending, and it is that, but there's a lot more to come yet. We have another major arcana with that card. We have Justice, adjustment. You know, we've just gone through the full moon in Libra, was the last one. We're now in full moon in Scorpio, and yet this balancing energy that tipped the scales, that are here, that Spirit's doing, is still being played out. It hasn't, nothing's as quick and as rapid as one would hope. I mean, lots of the visions I've been seeing of the most beautiful, stunning transformations are not yet. They're not yet. They're in time. But this full moon is about continuing this energy of tipping the balance in another direction. It's gone in the other direction, but as it goes in the other direction, the weight of the new truthful energy means that the old energy is kind of bailing out, and so more and more uncomfortable truths will start to flow out. I just looked, well, it wasn't I looked, I literally just saw the time when it said 555, which is interesting because this reading was meant to be part of the Gateway of Arashkagal, and I'm kind of putting a stopper on that at the moment, but maybe more information will come out about it. So we have the Eight of Cups, and this is just leaving everything behind. The energy really is transformation, karmic. The message that I'm getting from this is karma has changed. We're in a transformative energy period, and things are just different now, and we don't need any of the past. All of the things that we think of as past, even as memories, none of them serve us any longer. What serves you is to be the total sum of everything that you were and that you've experienced to make you to this point, but not to carry that baggage. It's almost like taking all the baggage of your life and just leaving it in a baggage compartment of the world and moving on without it. We have no, it has no function for us. And it comes, this Eight of Cups with the Five of Cups, and that makes a 13. And I'm always interested to see divine 13s, especially in moon readings, because there's 13 full moons this year. This cup has so many multiple meanings. I'm really seeing the frustration in her today. Sometimes I think this card represents only drinking from one opportunity in life when there are four others hanging on the wall above you, in front of you, and the viaduct down here is completely void of water and emotion. It's like the whole of the world is starved. But today, because of us in isolation, this card is trying to tell me, to tell all of us, that we have to drink only from our own cup of emotions to move this forwards. We have to be isolated from the collective, our families, our friends, emotionally to a certain extent, because the paradox is to move everybody forwards, we have to disconnect from them. And that's a message that keeps coming up over and over. Now, these two cards were face down into the grass, and we have the Emperor and the Queen of Batons. So the Emperor is the emotional masculine. That's the energy of the Earth grid right at this moment. And he is a 4. You're drinking from one cup, but there are 4 hanging up. This is 8, 2 rows of 4. So we've really got that sense of the 13 cups, but we're only drinking from one. And the energy from this Emperor today really is static. And the same with this energy of the Queen of Batons. It's like a listlessness, a disappointment at the moment. Look, everything's as it's meant to be, but the energy that I'm getting from these two cards is that the energy of the cosmos and the Earth grid has got an undercurrent of disappointment, even though everything we're doing is exactly what they want it to be. There's a kind of, they're waiting on the energies that they've put out, that they've transformed from the macro fractal in the cosmos into the Earth fractal and back out into our micro fractals within our body and DNA and our emotions and how we think and how we act. The universe is just, and the planet and the natural world is just rather listlessly witnessing what we're about. So I'm going to take this off deck from Aleister Crowley, and we're going to ask to clarify first of all the Four of Pentacles, the new beginning that we need to imagine, and spirit coming in and cutting and severing and changing the balance of everything in the world. It's a big spillage of cards has just come out there. So let's see what we have. Let's turn them all over. Right, so to go with this wonderful, oops, I knocked my lovely little crystal off. I brought this because I don't have my crystal ball, so I brought my favourite quartz with me. So to go with this Knight of Swords, we have the Queen of Swords. So this gung-ho energy is being done with an absolute purpose to behead the ego, the raw masculine ego that's keeping us grounded in that position. And we are, through the new truths, we've got a lovely 110 combination, and I always say 1 and 10, 110 is a manifestation. We are manifesting the truth to cut through all the illusions, to create all the energy. This is a card that I would expect to see in a Scorpio reading. This is the ending of endings. So if we're at a moon that's the ending of endings, then this card is saying we're beginning to cut through with the truth. It's happening. And then we have the divine masculine Hierophant energy. This is coming on the eclipse on the 21st of June. So from the emotional male to the divine masculine. So this is the natural progression. This is the energy cycles that this moon is setting up. This ending of endings, this emotional transformation is bringing our emotions to a point of zenness, because it comes with the Knight, which in this deck is the King, the zen of emotions. To have this spiritual epiphany and to bring our emotions into stability so that we can offer our emotions to each other genuinely. So now I want to ask about the Tower and Justice moment. That's a bit of a flippy turn, but I just wanted to point out that it had the Lovers card on it. So Justice and the Tower, Tower and the Justice, Justice and the Tower, Tower and the Justice. Oh wow, we're really in the most gorgeous energy. So the Tower, it's about bringing emotional balance. We have to go through this moment. We have to have this adjustment. We have to have this Libra full moon that's moved into a Scorpio full moon to bring us to this point of being able to come into ourselves. Look, there's 6 wands behind, and we're coming into a new physical framework, nervous system, notion, being. The card of Valor, the 7 of Wands, a pathway forward, 6 to 7. And where are we being taken? We're manifesting love. The frequency of this tower is to help us and enable everybody to start to manifest love. Now, we've now got, this is a sense of the raw masculine, the emotional masculine, and then wherever I've put him, the divine masculine. We've got the natural progression. Age of Pisces, 26th of December last year, this took hold. It began earlier. You know, it did begin maybe 100 years before that, and it certainly began to rear its head more when the Kali Ma energy of the 1960s, burning of the ego, started. But now this is fixed. This is really fading now, and we're heading towards the opening of this divine masculine on the solar eclipse on Midsummer's Day. So let me just put them back in the relevant piles. So we are manifesting love. So what this is telling us is that the raw masculine energy of the magician is being transmuted and changed to being aware of its divinity when it creates. So it's beginning to create love, which is something we can offer to the collective. It's not coming along and saying, I manifest a load of cash, or I manifest a new job, or I manifest love, and then everything else can be manifested around it, because love is the perfect frequency to bring about everything you've ever wished for. But we have been living in an age where we're programmed to believe, particularly quite often, that you can only have one thing you dream about, focus on one thing. You can have everything. We're moving to a stage where we can have everything, but we've got to have ownership and power of that. And to do that, we've got to cut away the past. We can't hold those old energies because they don't belong to the frequency of the future. So carrying them forwards is really slowing your progress. So this moon is asking you to identify and move away from the things that slow you down. So let's just hear what we've got. What are the clarifiers for the natural world waiting on us to change the emotional wells that we drink from, the source water that we sup with the emotions? So what do we have? Oh, so we have lust, strength. Look, this is the divine feminine now having power over the raw and emotional masculine to create the divine masculine, to bring balance. This is what's taking place, and this moon is about tipping the energy of that balance. And we have the Yggdrasil, the Eight of Pentacles, the key code, the card that brings such wonderful possibilities. It's because it's a key, it's telling you that this is the energy that's meant to be. You have to trust that the changes, the transformations that are taking place are all for good and all for the best, because a new world is being built, a new beautiful abundant sphere of... I did a lot of study the other day on this card, because the Ophium Meta, or Mera, or Mela, as lots of people say, different forms of it. It's the Ophion is spelt incorrectly, and it's to do with after the life of the snake, after the gateway has opened, after you've used your key to enter into the new portals. It's the after the snake energy, the snake being that Kundalini birthing. It's the frequency of energy in linear space, moves in kind of zigzag wiggles. I was honoured to witness this with a series of midges down by the stream just behind me here, where the physical midges turned into energy frequencies that were bouncing through and enlivening the 3D shell aspect that I would witness as midges, and I began to see them as just very fast bursts in and out of dimensions of energy. And then I was able to slow down those little wiggles into perfect white spherical orbs of light energy, and then draw those frequencies towards me and hold them in my hand as they danced and formed in a kind of very slow moving tornado vortex. I'm only saying tornado to give you the idea of the shape, like a twister. In my hand of very slow moving energy particles that were part of everything. They're in the trunk of a tree, they're in everything. They're literally a soup through which they bounce and move. So the universe is realigning it. The Ophium being spelt wrong is telling you that as we go through this gateway, things will look very similar on close inspection, but actually they're completely different. And that's the point of the seeing midges, then seeing them as energy, and then seeing them as the actual orbs slowed down, is about how there are different layers to perception. And this full moon would like you to begin to strip away your visual, oral, touch perceptions to begin to create a new reality. So let's just, can we have any little messages about that changing of perception, the field of perception? 2 cards. So it's the current perception creates an inner turmoil because it's not fluid, it's very hard. And when you break through and begin to peel away the layers and see the energy workings within this, you begin to see its purpose, and that will unlock Empress energy. So all blockages will be removed, flow will return to your life, abundance. This is the energy that created life, all life. It's the emotional feminine energy that descended from the divine feminine onto the earth to create life. I've just knocked my little quartz again. So this is the frequency that's coming down. Again, it's reorganizing everything in the world as we know it. So can we please, just to end, can we clarify please this Scorpio moon change of inner turmoil to Empress energy? So 2 cards to clarify. The 9 of batons or wands and the Chariot, number 7. Now this is the card of the spiritual warrior. It's also talking about the balance comes at the eclipse, the sun and then the moon at the bottom. And it's about, again, passing by. Do you see how there's 8 batons behind, these 8 cups you leave behind to create yourself as something new, to be renewed, this energy again. It's all about a complete renewal of life. And then your frequency at the heart of you, this energy here, will begin to resonate at a new frequency, and this will allow you to move forwards, because at the moment you're paused. There is no movement because these are stone statues, and life will transfer, will change, the energy will increase, and then a new energy will flow in, things will feel different, and movement will begin to happen. So this moon's a preparation for the eclipse, as I say, and it's really nice to do an outdoor video with you. And again, thank you to those of you who've written to check I'm okay. I am having a lovely time, but my head has been expanded in so many ways that it became very difficult to pull messages out that seemed relevant. So I hope this helps, and I'm now going to enjoy a little bit of a lie in this sun. Shh, don't tell anyone. Wassail.